For this video, we're going to talk Numpy, numerical Python. So, ang una natin gagawin is ila-launch natin this one. Launch. So, i-enter natin yung command which is pip install numpy. Shift enter. So, wait lang natin mag-process. So, since yung requirement natin is already satisfied na, pwede natin itong i-exit. Then, launch Jupyter. And then, you click the Python 3. Yan. So, example, import muna natin yan. Numpy. Then, yung ating variable. Oops. Then, numpy. Array, and then adding values or elements. For example, I 1, 2, and 3. Then print ARR. Shift enter, and then lalabas yung ating elements 1, 2, and 3. So we can use numpy as NP. It usually imported under the NP alias. So, mag-create tayo ng alias with as keyword while importing. So, ganito. Import numpy as NP. So, we can copy na lang this one or palitan natin yung ating ARR para mas mapabilis. X. Then, NP na lang kasi pinalitan na natin siya as NP. Yung ating numpy. Array. Then, square brackets. 1, 2, and 3. And then, print X na lang. Print X. Yan. So, ang next naman ay i-check natin, magka-create tayo ng arrays. Creating a Numpy and the array object. Numpy is used to work with arrays. The array object in Numpy is called the array. So we can create a Numpy and the array object by using the function. Yung ganito yung function niya. Yan. So, example, import numpy as NP. So, X equals NP that array 1, 2, and 3. And then, print X. Enter. So, titingnan natin yung ating type kung array ba siya. So, ang gagawin natin is type. Type. Then, X. So, yung 1, 2, 3 natin is the array or array object in numpy. So, next naman, titingnan natin kung ano yung dimensions in arrays. And then, a dimension in these arrays is one level of array depth. So, una is zero-dimensional. Mag-create tayo ng zero-dimensional array with value, for example, 12. So, import numpy as NP. Yan. So, X equals to NP that array. And then, yung value natin is, halimbawa, is 12. Then, enter, print X. Lalabas yung ating zero-dimensional array. which is yung 12. Then next, 1D array. So, ang 1D array is an array that has 0-dimensional arrays as its elements. So, example, import numpy as np. So, x equals to np.array. For example, may values tayo na 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, print, mali pala. Puro siya capital letter ulit. X equals to np.array. Then print x. X lang yan. Lalabas ay yung ating one-dimensional arrays. So, next naman is a two-dimensional arrays. An array that has one direction or dimension arrays as its elements. So, let's create a two-dimensional array containing two arrays with values, for example, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. So, import numpy as np. And then x equals to np.array. So, yung values natin na 1, 2, 3. Mukhang kulang tayo na sa pang square bracket dito. And then, comma, square bracket, 4, 5, and 6. Then, isa pa dito ng square bracket. And then, print x. So, yan. So, ito yung ating two-dimensional array. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Then, example naman ng three-dimensional arrays. Ang three-dimensional array ay array that has two-dimensional arrays as its elements. Example, import numpy as np. So, x, np.array, brackets, tatlo. Yan. So, 1, 2, 3. Then, comma, bracket, square bracket, 1, or 4, 5, 6. Then, comma ulit, square bracket, 1, 2, 3. Then, comma, square bracket, 1, 4, 5, and 6. Bigyan natin dito ng isa para tama yung ating. So, let's check kung tama. Dito. Yan. And then, print x. Shift enter. So, ayan yung ating three-dimensional arrays. So, pwede tayong mag-check ng number of dimension. Ang numpy arrays, it provides the NDIM. So, NDIM yan. NDIM attribute that returns an integer that tells us how many dimensions the array have. So, for example, import numpy array. Import numpy as np. So, for example, ang a natin equals to 1 to 12. No? May values tayo na 12. Yan. Tapos ang b ay np.array. So, may values tayo na, for example, 1, square bracket, 1, 2, and 3. So, next naman is yung C natin. For example, meron tayong values or elements na 1, 2, 3, and then square bracket ulit na 4, 5, and 6. So, kulang siya ng square brackets. Yarn. Then, for example, yung D natin ay merong values na 1, 2, comma muna, 3, and then, comma, brackets ulit, 4, 5, and 6, and then, comma, brackets, now 1, 2, 3, then comma, brackets, 4, 5, and 6. So, sobra ata yung ating brackets. So, check natin. Dito, kulang tayo ng isa. Yarn. Then next, ipiprint natin yung ating A. Lalagay natin yung function na NDIM. Same goes sa B, C at D. So, B dot NDIM. Next, print C dot NDIM. And then print D dot NDIM. So, check natin para hindi siya agad mag-error. Tama naman. I guess. Then, shift enter. So, ang A natin ay merong 0 dimension. Ito, 0 dimension array. Ang B natin ay merong 1 dimension. Ang C ay merong 2. Yan. Itong 2. Itong C natin merong 2 dimension. And then, the last D is 3 dimension. Meron siyang 3 dimension. Tapos, meron naman tayong next naman natin is a higher dimension arrays. An array can have any number of dimensions. So meron tayong mga higher dimensional arrays. So, when the array is created, you can define the number of dimensions by using the NDIM argument. So, let's create an array. With 5 dimensions. So, for example, import Numpy as NP. So, x equals to NP dot array square brackets 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, comma NDIM yung ating argument equals 5 kasi we will mag-create tayo ng array with 5 dimensions and verify natin that it has 5 dimensions. So, print x. And then, ilagay din natin yung print number of dimensions. Yan. Dimensions. And then, colon. And then, comma. Yung x natin, dot, and DIM. So, shift enter. Check muna natin para hindi mag-error. Tapos natin muna. Yan. So, import natin as NPAR. So, ito yung lumabas. Meron tayong 5 dimensions. At ito na-verify that it has 5 dimension. Yung ating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nagkaroon na siya ng 5 dimension. Ito yung itsura ng ating 5 dimension. So, next naman tayo. Mag-move on tayo sa indexing. So, sa indexing, ang array indexing is the same as accessing an array element. So, you can access or we can access an array element by referring to its index number. So, the indexes in Numpy arrays start with 0, meaning that the first element has index 0 and the second has index 1 or etc. So on and so forth. So, for example, import Numpy as NP x equals to np dot array square bracket for let's say for example we have the values of 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. And so ipiprint natin for example ang ating 0 index. So ayan, so tingnan natin kung ano yung lalabas. R to R, X pala. So 1. So ang 0 index natin ay itong 1. So let's try naman kung ang 2 index natin, kung ano yun ang lalabas. So 3. Dahil ito yung 0 index, 1 index, and then yung 2. So ang 2 index ay ito, 3, which is ito lumabas. So example naman ay for example 3. Then yung kasunod lang yung 4 ang lalabas. Then next naman, mag-access naman tayo sa 2-dimensional arrays ng ating indexing. For example, import numpy as np. So x equals to np dot array, open brackets, then 1, for example 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then natin ng isang bracket dito, bracket, comma, then bracket again, and for example 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So let's add bracket here, or dito, and then let's say print second element on a first dimension. Lagay na lang natin ay dim or dime. So comma x, let's say 0 or index 0 in the first element. So we're going to access the second element on the first dimension. So let's print this. We check muna natin para hindi mag-error. So mukhang tama naman yung lagay. Then print. So ang second element on first dimension ay 2. Dahil ito ay index 0. Ang index 0 natin sa second dimension or 2 dimension is itong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ang first element naman natin ay ang ating ito, 2. Dahil ito ang 0, ito ang 1. Yan, so 2. Ito yung 1 element. Then 2 yung sagot. So next, another example, i-access natin ang fifth element sa second dimensional. So for example, import numpy as np. So x equals np.array, and then parentheses, brackets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So dapat pala pinalitan na lang natin yung nasa taas. So pwede na yan. 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So tama naman. Check. Next, so print natin. Ayan. Sabi natin kanina ay i-access natin yung fifth element, no? So lalagyan natin ay fifth element sa second dimension. Lagyan na lang natin ay dimension. So colon, quit, and then enter, x 1, and then 4. Wait, mali. x square bracket, then 1, and then 4. Close parenthesis din. Ang fifth element natin sa second dimension ay, then dahil yung natin 1 index or the first index natin is nandito sa second dimension. Tapos ang pang fourth index niya, so 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10 ang sagot dahil ito yung 4 index. So 10 ang natin nakuha. So next naman, ang gagamitin naman natin, ang example naman natin is Numpy array slicing. So ang slicing in Python, it means that taking elements from one given index to another given index. So we pass slice index instead of index like this. So first, ganito yun. Start, and then end. Ganyan. So, pwede din, meron din tayong ganito. Start, and then end. Oops. End, and then yung step. Ayan. So, let's give an example. So, example, import Numpy. Oops, mali ang ating spelling. Numpy as NP. So, let's say x is equals to NP array. Then, open parenthesis, close bracket, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or, dagdagan na natin 6, 7, and 8. So, print natin yung x, for example, is slice natin yung elements from index 1 to index 5. Yan. So, ang kukunin natin, yung start natin is 1 sa index 1, and then mag-e-end tayo sa index 5. So, ang nakuha natin is 2, 3, 4, 5, since ang index 1 natin, nag-start tayo sa index 1. So, ito yung 0 index, ito yung 1 index 1. So, nag-start tayo sa index 2 hanggang 4 at 5. So, mag-stop tayo sa 5 index. Ito yung 5 index. So, next example, mag-slice naman tayo ng elements from index 4 to the end of the array. So, ganito yun. Import Numpy as NP. So, enter x NP dot array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then, ipiprint natin ay yung x. For example, ang start natin is 4. Tapos, ang ating end ay wala. So, wala tayong ilalagay. So, ang ibig sabihin nun, hanggang sa end na siya ng array. So, itong array natin, ito yung array natin hanggang sa dulo. Mag-start sa 4, then magtatapos dun sa dulo ng ating array. So, print, shift, enter. So, ang lalabas dyan ay 5, 6, 7, 8. Dahil ito yung 0 index, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ito yung 4 index natin. Ito, nakalagay kasi dyan 4 index. So, nag-start tayo sa 5 hanggang matapos doon sa array, which is doon sa 8. So, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So, meron din tayong negative indexing. So, for example, let's copy na lang this one. So, copy and paste. So, halimbawa, sa negative, slicing. So, lalagay natin dyan is negative. Let's say, negative 3. And then, negative 1. So, print. So, 6 at 7 na lumabas. Bakit? Sa negative slicing, dito tayo mag-start sa right side. So, ito yung negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So, ang sabi dito ay start tayo sa negative 3. So, ang start namin, ito yung negative 3. Tapos, ang end natin ay sa negative 1. So, ang lumabas doon ay 6 at 7. So, ang next naman, gagamitin naman natin yung step kanina. Yung sinabi kong may step. So, example, import numpy as np. So, x equals to np dot array with the values of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and 6. So, tama na yan. Madagdagan pa. Sige. 7 and 8 and 9. Learn. And then print x. Yung start natin, for example, ay 1. Ang end natin, for example, ay 5. And then, example, ang ating step ay 2. So, shift enter. So, 2 and 4. So, nag-start tayo sa index 1, which is ito. Tapos, mag-end daw tayo sa index 5. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tapos, dun tayo mag-end. Tapos, may 2 steps tayo. So, 2. I-step ng 2. So, 4. Kaya, ang sagot natin ay 2 at 4. So, next naman tayo. Ang next naman natin ay we're going to sa view at sa copy naman tayo, no? So, ang view at copy naman natin. So, ang difference ng numpy array copy versus view. Ang difference ng copy and view, the main difference between a copy and view of an array is that the copy is a new array and the view is just a view of the original array. So the copy owns the data and any changes made to the copy will not affect original array. So the view naman does not own the data and any changes made to the view. So example, import numpy as np. So let's say for example, ang x natin ay equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, tama na yan. So, ang x, ar, or x. Oh, nasaan na tayo? Kapalitan natin ito ng arr, or array, then x equals arr dot copy. So, sa copy muna tayo mag-example. Ulit. Arr dot copy. So, enter arr. For example, 0 index. Kapalitan natin ng, for example, ay 40. Then, print arr. Then, print x. So, shift enter. So, yung ating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nipalitan niya yung 0 index, which is yung 1. Nipalitan niya as 40. So, ito makikita nyo, naging 14 na yung 1 natin. Yung 0 index natin. So, example naman sa view. Tapos, we will make a view, change the original array, and display both arrays. So, example, import numpy as np. So, x for array arr np.array parenthesis square brackets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, ang gagamitin naman natin dito is view. So, x equals to arr dot view. Kung dito kanina sa ano ay copy, dito naman ay view. So, let's see kung paano mangyayari. Print arr, then print x. Shift enter. So, ayan. Ang ginawa dito is, view niya lang yung ating, itong mga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ang badges natin. So, ayun lang. That's all for this Numpy video. And thank you for watching.